Today in crypto, Bitcoin is, well, still kind of boring, but old-time favorites like Stellar Lumens and Cardano are going absolutely crazy. Theft by the American kleptocracy reaches a fever pitch in the United States as regular people stand on the edge of economic abyss. A USDC Blacklist warning, and Coinbase is looking to do an IPO in what would be an absolute landmark moment for the crypto industry. My name is Lark, and this is where you subscribe for all of the hottest, like this tasty tea. That's good. Always time for tea, guys. And all of the latest happening out here in the wild, wild land of crypto. So let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the markets. Not a whole lot is happening with Bitcoin. Surprise, surprise, I know. We're still ranging in our symmetrical triangle here, down a couple of percent on the day, but really that's nothing to take note of. If we can close a really definitive breakout above this triangle, get that proper, Chad, big, green, frickin' candle, we could be looking to retest $10,000 in that situation. Otherwise, we're just ranging. We did just do a failed breakout attempt of the 50-day moving average, which of course failed, so that's not super awesome. Bitcoin is just struggling to get that momentum going at the moment, so really nothing to report there. All the money is going into altcoins right now. The total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin, has broken out from a 2-year downtrend, signaling what many of us already knew, that an altcoin cycle is heating up. Bitcoin dominance is continuing to fall, although it is taking a short breather right now. A further fall for Bitcoin dominance, though, does seem likely as we continue to see this hype building around altcoins and the new narratives that we're seeing come up around decentralized finance. So let's go ahead and check in on a couple of altcoins here. Stellar Lumens has had a nice breakout. Now, this was a setup shared in the newsletter by Rect Capital. Now, watch for the weekly to confirm on this. We could be in for some real fireworks if we see this confirm for Stellar. As you can see, we have had a few false breakouts before, so be careful not to get caught out if this plays out again, where it's just a FOMO fake out wick. Now, if we can confirm this breakout on the weekly, then we could have a long way to run with Stellar Lumens. I have circled the current breakout for you on this chart just to give you an idea of how far we still have to go in terms of how far Stellar is down versus previous highs. And actually, I don't think that the market ever really priced in the fact that the Stellar Foundation burnt 55 billion tokens back in November, reducing the total supply down to 50 billion. So that's something to keep in mind if you're a Stellar investor. Now, having a quick peek at Cardano, we can see that the price is retracing a bit after the massive run that we did have, back down to 12 cents after peaking out at 14 cents the other day. If we can see this purple box, which formed a significant area of price resistance, act as price support, and we get a bounce off of that line of support, then that would be a technically very, very strong move and could set us up to challenge the next big line of resistance around the 20-cent area. Now, this pullback is both expected and healthy. The RSI for ADA on the daily got up to 82, which was way overheated. Now, I still expect that Cardano has a good chance for a price run as we get close to staking on the mainnet on August 18th. If the market continues an altcoin uptrend, then this would definitely be one to keep an eye on for a short-term swing trade or just for that long-term accumulation. Also, with all the hype around Shelly, 14,000 new addresses are joining the network on a daily basis. This is up from just around 3,000 a few weeks ago. So we can see there's a massive growing interest in Cardano as we get closer to staking. A big thank you to Crypto.com for sponsoring today's episode. The next syndicate event will be held on July 14th and will give you the chance to score some Algorand at a 50% discount. You will need to stake CRO tokens to be eligible for that sale. Big news also for all the Crypto.com users in New Zealand and in Australia. You can now buy crypto via the Crypto.com app using either Aussie or Kiwi dollars, meaning that there will be no Forex fees for your purchases. And until the end of September, You will pay 0% in fees for buying crypto with your credit card, which is a super, super sweet deal. And also, for anyone who has not yet got themselves a Crypto.com debit card, they are now shipping to the EU, to the UK, New Zealand, the Philippines, the USA, Australia, and soon coming to Canada as well. Now, depending on what tier of card you get, you can enjoy up to 5% cashback rewards. You can get free Netflix, free Spotify, airport lounge access, premium lending rates, and a few other cool perks as well. And as a special bonus, if you sign up using the link down below in the description, then you will get a $50 bonus in free crypto when reserving a Ruby Red tier card or higher, which is definitely a sweet deal. Okay, now on to the first story of today. $100,000 in USDC has been blacklisted. So Center, which is a company run by Circle and Coinbase and which issues the USDC stablecoin, blacklisted the address at the request of US law enforcement. So the USDC in that address, it is now locked and it cannot be used for on-chain transactions and likely cannot be redeemed for cash via USDC either. It's probably not a really great look for USDC, although these kinds of actions, they will become an ever-present reality in a world where the Financial Action Task Force is a massive force and you have creeping regulations all around the world creeping into cryptocurrency. By the way, my preferred stablecoin, it is USDC. It is the second biggest stablecoin in market cap right now, and no, this story does not particularly worry me, but it does serve as a reminder that stablecoins, which are backed by centralized authorities, they carry certain risks. So something to keep in mind. And now if you're thinking, well, Lark, I'm just going to go use Tether instead. Well, Tether has frozen a total of 39 addresses at the request of law enforcement. So that's something for you to keep in mind. Now look, as long as you're not money laundering or doing some kind of other illicit crap, you should be totally fine. But if you want a more decentralized, although much less liquid variant, then you might want to choose a stablecoin like Maker's DAI. Probably the best decentralized dollar out there. I mean, the mechanics behind DAI, it's super fascinating stuff. Anyway, so something for you to think about. Next up, it appears that Coinbase is planning to go public and launch potentially an IPO. Now, this will be a massive step really in the legitimization of the crypto industry. Now, we've already seen Bitcoin mining companies doing IPOs. Ripple has been speculated to be heading towards doing an IPO as well. But Coinbase doing an IPO, that would be massive. Since, of course, it is one of the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchanges. This would be yet another crypto has made it kind of moment for us. Right now, it appears that Coinbase is still awaiting SEC approval, but considering that the mining company has been approved, I would not see why Coinbase wouldn't be, especially considering that Coinbase is one of the heaviest regulated exchanges out there. I mean, it's not a Bitcoin ETF, it's a company, so it should get through SEC approval, so hopefully that happens. And if it does happen, then it would really just send a definitive signal to all the regular people out there that crypto's cool, crypto's normal. You can buy cryptocurrency related companies on the stock exchange. I wonder also if Coinbase starting a bank account at JP Morgan a couple months ago is somehow connected to this story in terms of legitimization and all that kind of stuff. The timing seems very coincidental, I think. And if so, then could we expect a Gemini IPO as well? Although sources close to the matter do say that Coinbase may not actually be going the IPO route and they may simply seek a direct listing. So what does that mean? It means that no new shares will be issued, so there won't be a bunch of new shares you can buy in the IPO, and that any shares available for sale will come directly from Coinbase employees and from early stage investors. Isn't investing fun, guys? Anyway. Moving on. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin has said that the vast majority of the PPP loans above $2 million, those will simply be forgiven. That's insane. Do you see the bait and switch going on here? Do you understand what's just happened? They rolled out all these programs, all this money, right? And almost all of this money went to big companies and connected insiders. As more and more stories come out, it's sickening to see who's got the money, and it's all just these dirty deals. The banks, they were put in charge of handling these programs, and for their services, they took very high fees, and they handed the money straight over to their rich mates because it was the easiest thing to do, and they all got favors for it. They didn't give it to the struggling mom and pop shops who actually needed money. Oh, sure, some money got to those people, but not very much. And now it comes out that those people who got all this money, they're not even going to have to pay it back. It's just free money for the elites. It's crazy. To be clear, if you're a small business and you needed to borrow $50,000 or $100,000, you probably didn't get that money in the first place, but if you did get it, you have to pay it back. And the guy who got $10 million, they don't have to pay it back. If you're mega rich, then it's, please, sir, we wouldn't want to embarrass you by asking you to repay your loan. We know you're good for it, so just keep it. What? Can it be any clearer, man? Socialism for the rich and capitalism for the poor. You can't have a system like that. It doesn't work in the long term. And if you still have doubts that this is not a rigged game for insiders, check out this story. 40 lobbyists with ties to the president helped their clients secure more than $10 billion in federal aid. Now look, maybe some of those companies needed that federal aid. But in most cases, it has simply been hogs fattening themselves at the money trough. I mean, why did companies like Berkshire Hathaway get their corporate bonds bought up? They didn't need the money. They're sitting on billions and billions of dollars. And what about the people who actually desperately need money and need assistance? Well, we see stories like this one, which are very worrying. Retail apocalypse accelerates. 8,700 stores are closing. This is the brutal truth. Around half of the U.S.'s small businesses, they may shut permanently as a result of the current crisis. Well, many other countries have been able to spring into action to protect businesses and to protect workers. The American oligarch class has been looting the country to an unbelievable degree with almost no regard for regular people. Making stories like this one really just hit a hard truth home for Americans. The title of the article is "The Ugly Truth About Millions of American Jobs. They are not coming back." Just think about it. 50% of small businesses might be closing. All the massive downturns in multiple sectors, businesses aren't just going to bounce back. Millions of people will never get their jobs back. They're just going to remain unemployed. And remember, right now, 42 million people in the United States are unemployed, making for Great Depression levels of unemployment. And while the rhetoric was that this is all going to be temporary until the pandemic is over, no. The reality for millions of people is that these losses, they're going to become permanent losses that will affect their lives for years into the future. And while the oligarchy has helped themselves to the treasury and stolen more money than regular people can even imagine, your average person, what did they get? One check for a sum of $1,200. Unfrickin' real, man. But hey, the good news is a second round of stimulus is planned for the regular people, meaning that a second check for $1,200 is looking like an increasingly likely reality. But you have got to understand that, well, average people might get $1,200. That stimulus package that lets you get $1,200 will also include an ungodly amount of money for the wealthy banks, corporations. Look at what they just did. You think they're not going to take a second chance to do that? Why wouldn't they? They got away with it the first time this year. They got away with it back in 2008. Why wouldn't they do it again? And look, I know I talk a lot about the wider economic situation, particularly the one in America is one of the world's most important economies, but I believe that this is super important always to keep in context the reasons why we need to overturn the existing global financial order. The blatant corruption, the cronyism, the absolute just moral bankruptcy, the policies that are enacted by central banks which are robbing your wealth on a daily basis and are enslaving generations to an unpayable debt burden. All of this stuff must be exposed on a regular basis, and it keeps happening, so I keep talking about it. This information for me, it is the fuel that I need to stay the course and to keep stacking sats, to keep playing the long game on Bitcoin because it's important. Bitcoin matters. So your question for today, When Coinbase does its IPO, if it does an IPO, would you buy and hold Coinbase stocks? I would certainly consider it, even though Coinbase is far from being my favorite company in crypto. There are also rumors going around that BlockFi will consider doing an IPO in 2021. Now, that would be one that I particularly would be keen on. Coinbase, we'll see. There's a lot of other very tempting stocks out there too. But anyway, keen to hear your opinion. Would you buy and hold Coinbase stocks? Let me know down below. Hope you're having an awesome day wherever you are and whatever you are doing. Thank you for tuning in to listen to this dude talk about cryptocurrencies on the internet. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.